Get ready to dive into a chapter filled with mystery, destruction, and divine justice. The corruption caused by the Watchers and their giant offspring plunged Earth into chaos, pushing humanity to the brink of survival. But the cries of the righteous reach the heavens, and a celestial response is about to reshape the fate of the world. Who are the ones responsible for this devastation? How will the heavens respond to the desperate call of creation? This is the story of an epic clash between heaven and rebellion that forever altered the course of existence. Stay tuned until the end, because the revelations in this chapter are absolutely breathtaking. Chapter 7 of the Book of Enoch delves into the direct impact of the corruption caused by the Watchers and their descendants, the giants, on Earth. In it, Enoch narrates the catastrophic results of angelic interference and how it plunged creation into a state of chaos and despair. The Watchers, angels who descended to Earth and broke divine decrees, taught humans forbidden knowledge such as sorcery, warfare, and the use of metals for weapons and adornments. These practices fueled greed, violence, and rebellion. As a consequence, the giants, illegitimate children of the Watchers, and human women consumed the planet's resources without limits. The giants, due to their colossal size and insatiable appetites, devastated crops, forests, and livestock. Unsatisfied with this, they began attacking humans themselves, consuming human flesh, and even turning on each other. The terror spread by these supernatural beings turned Earth into a field of suffering and destruction, with cries of agony rising to the heavens. As corruption advanced, humans began to lose the knowledge of divine ways, plunging into abominable practices taught by the Watchers. Idolatry intensified, and humanity drifted even further from their Creator, worshipping the Watchers themselves and seeking power through dark rituals. In the face of such calamity, the voices of the righteous began to cry out for help. Their pleas reached the heavens, and the faithful angels, led by Michael and Raphael, presented the case before the Creator's throne. It was decided that the Watchers would be judged, and the earth would need to be purified. This chapter establishes the foundation for the divine judgment of the Watchers and demonstrates the devastating impact of angelic rebellion, serving as a powerful warning about the dangers of turning away from divine decrees. The Watchers descended upon the earth like a storm breaching the heavens, their luminous forms cloaked in rebellion. United under a solemn pact forged on the peaks of Mount Hermon, they vowed to shatter divine decrees. What began as a mission to observe humanity turned into a cataclysmic defiance of creation itself. These celestial beings, intoxicated by mortal beauty, chose women as their consorts. Each union birthed a generation of giants, beings of immense size and insatiable hunger. The earth trembled under their colossal footsteps as they drained its resources, consuming crops, livestock, and forests at a terrifying pace. The harmony of creation unraveled, giving way to chaos and despair. The Watchers, unsatisfied with mere rebellion, shared forbidden knowledge with humanity. The secrets of the heavens, astrology, weapon crafting, and sorcery were revealed to mortal minds. Metal turned to swords and shields, blood stained the soil, and war became the language of man. As the stars were charted and the skies observed, humanity's gaze drifted from its Creator. What was once a sanctuary of life became a realm of defilement. Rivers ran red with the spoils of violence, the air thick with cries of anguish. Giants, driven by their unquenchable hunger, turned upon their human creators and even devoured one another in grotesque feasts of destruction. The earth, once vibrant and teeming with life, now lay in desolation. Fields were barren, forests scorched, and the cries of the oppressed echoed to the heavens. Yet, even amidst the ruins, a faint light persisted, the whispers of the righteous, calling upon the Creator for deliverance. Their prayers rose like smoke from a dying flame, igniting a celestial response that would set the stage for divine intervention. The Watchers had sown the seeds of their reckoning. The giants, born from forbidden unions, became the harbingers of unrelenting devastation. Towering above all creation, their very presence was an affront to the natural order. Their hunger knew no bounds, consuming not only the bounty of the earth, but turning upon humanity in a bloodthirsty rampage. What was once a world of peace became a stage for their insatiable appetite. Fields once golden with harvests were left barren, trampled beneath their colossal strides. Livestock vanished, and the forests, which once whispered with life, were reduced to silence. Yet even this destruction did not satiate them. In their desperation, the giants turned against mankind, ripping apart villages and leaving rivers of blood in their wake. Their violence did not stop with humanity. The giants began to consume one another, engaging in grotesque battles that shook the earth to its core. The skies seemed to darken with each clash, the echoes of their roars reverberating through creation. It was as if the very fabric of existence recoiled in horror at their actions. Above this nightmare, the Watchers continued their deceitful reign. They fed humanity's curiosity with dangerous knowledge, teaching the forging of weapons that fueled wars and the use of enchantments that ensnared the souls of men. Vanity spread like a plague as they introduced adornments and cosmetics, turning hearts toward pride and idolatry. Amid this darkness, humanity's spiritual connection with the Creator faded. Idol worship replaced reverence for the divine, and rituals once pure became twisted into acts of blasphemy. The earth groaned under the weight of corruption, and the cries of the righteous, though faint, began to rise. Their desperate voices pierced the heavens, reaching the ears of the faithful archangels. As chaos reigned on earth, a divine plan began to unfold, a judgment that would forever alter the course of existence. The earth groaned under the weight of sin, its very essence poisoned by the chaos unleashed by the Watchers. Yet, amidst the darkness, the anguished cries of the righteous began to rise. Scattered and few, these steadfast souls refused to surrender to the corruption surrounding them. Their prayers ascended to the heavens, a desperate plea for deliverance. In the celestial realm, the cries did not go unheard. The archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, gathered before the throne of the Most High, their faces shadowed by the weight of humanity's suffering. The Creator, whose patience had been stretched to its limits, decreed a reckoning. The Watchers, their offspring, and the corruption they had sown would face divine judgment. Michael, the commander of heavenly hosts, was charged with leading the forces of righteousness against the Watchers. Gabriel was tasked with stirring dissension among the giants, ensuring their self-destruction. Raphael was given a solemn mission to bind Azazel, the instigator of this rebellion, and cast him into the desolate abyss. Uriel, the illuminator, would warn Noah of the impending flood, ensuring the survival of the just. As the heavenly decree spread through the celestial realms, the forces of righteousness prepared for war. The heavens roared with anticipation as the archangels descended, each one bearing the authority of the Creator. The Watchers, once proud and defiant, began to sense their doom approaching, their celestial brilliance dimming under the weight of divine wrath. The earth itself seemed to hold its breath as the stage was set for a confrontation that would transcend time. The Creator's justice, though long delayed, was now imminent. The cries of the just had moved the heavens, and the day of reckoning was about to unfold in a cataclysmic display of power and retribution. The heavens erupted with celestial power as the archangels descended, their radiance cutting through the darkness that had shrouded the earth. Michael led the charge, wielding a blade forged by divine will, its light brighter than 1,000 suns. The Watchers, once radiant beings of celestial beauty, now stood tarnished, trembling as the forces of justice advanced. Gabriel's presence swept across the lands, his voice like thunder, sowing confusion and fear among the giants. These colossal beings, who once ruled with unchallenged might, now turned upon one another, their strength devolving into chaos. The earth quaked beneath their savage battles, their once glorious forms collapsing under their own weight. Raphael moved with unyielding purpose, his mission focused on Azazel, the dark architect of humanity's fall. In chains of holy fire, Azazel was bound, his cries echoing across creation as he was cast into a jagged abyss. There he would remain, his defiance silenced, awaiting the final judgment of the Creator. Uriel, the illuminator, approached Noah, a man chosen for his unwavering righteousness. With a voice that carried both urgency and compassion, Uriel revealed the coming flood, a divine cleansing that would sweep away the corruption from the earth. Noah, his heart heavy with the weight of this revelation, began preparations for the ark that would preserve the remnants of creation. The Watchers, stripped of their celestial authority, pleaded for mercy, but the heavens were resolute. Michael and his host drove them into the darkness, imprisoning them in the depths beneath the earth. Their rebellion had not only defiled creation, but had dared to challenge the sovereignty of the Most High. As the judgment unfolded, the earth seemed to exhale, its groans subsiding as the chains of corruption were shattered. Yet, the flood's waters loomed on the horizon, promising both destruction and renewal in the next chapter of humanity's story. The giants lay defeated, their monstrous forms reduced to ruin, but their downfall left scars that marred the earth. Rivers flowed thick with the remnants of their destruction, and the once fertile lands were barren, a haunting reminder of the Watchers' rebellion. The judgment of the Creator swept across creation like a purifying fire, but the reckoning was far from over. Michael, steadfast in his mission, sealed the Watchers within the depths of the earth. Bound by divine chains, they were cast into a shadowy abyss, their cries of despair lost in the silence of their eternal prison. These celestial rebels, who once reveled in their defiance, now faced an eternity of darkness, their light extinguished by their own arrogance. Meanwhile, Raphael's chains secured Azazel deeper into his desolation. The desolate wilderness where Azazel was bound became a cursed place, its very ground blackened by his presence. His fall was a symbol of the Creator's unwavering justice, a warning to all who might dare to follow his path of rebellion and deceit. As Uriel's warning echoed in Noah's ears, the righteous man worked tirelessly to fulfill the divine command. With each plank of wood laid, the ark became a beacon of hope amidst the impending storm. The mockery of those who witnessed his labor did not shake his resolve. Noah's faith stood firm, his hands building not just an ark, but a covenant of survival. The heavens, though victorious, were not silent. The archangels stood vigilant, ensuring the fulfillment of every divine decree. The earth and skies trembled in anticipation of what was to come, a cleansing flood unlike any seen before, destined to erase the corruption and begin a new chapter in creation. The stage was set, humanity's judgment loomed, and the floodwaters waited, relentless and unyielding. The moment of reckoning had arrived. The heavens, once filled with celestial light, now darkened as the earth braced for the flood that would cleanse all of creation. The righteous, those few who remained loyal to the Creator, stood in quiet anticipation, knowing the storm would purge the earth of its corruption. Noah, his family, and the animals entered the ark in solemn procession, each step echoing through the desolate land. With the final board nailed into place, the ark sealed the fate of humanity. The mocking voices that had once laughed at Noah's efforts now fell silent, as the sky darkened further and the first drop of rain fell from above. As the floodgates of the heavens opened, torrents of water surged across the earth, washing away the remnants of the giants and their wickedness. The oceans, rivers, and streams overran their banks, swallowing whole cities and kingdoms in their wake. The air, once filled with cries of defiance and destruction, was now drowned in the roar of the flood's fury. Above, the heavens mourned for what was lost. The righteous few aboard the ark felt the weight of the world's destruction upon their shoulders. Yet within their hearts, there was hope, a hope that through this cleansing, the world would one day be restored. The flood continued to rise, swallowing everything in its path. No stone, no tree, no creature was left untouched by the divine deluge. The wrath of the Creator poured forth, wiping away the defilement caused by the Watchers and their offspring. The earth was now an empty canvas, awaiting the touch of the Creator to bring forth a new beginning. And so, the flood raged, a visible sign of divine wrath and mercy intertwined, as creation was purged, ready to be reborn. The only hope for the future lay in the survival of the faithful few, who would carry the legacy of righteousness into the next era. As the floodwaters surged relentlessly over the earth, silence began to fall over the devastated world. The once bustling cities, teeming with life and corruption, were now submerged beneath the relentless waves. The giants, the Watchers, and all the kingdoms built by human pride were wiped away, their monuments and cities reduced to nothing more than forgotten remnants lost to the abyss. Inside the ark, Noah and his family held on, their hearts heavy with the weight of the destruction surrounding them. The sounds of the storm were deafening, but they were safe within the ark's protective walls, a divine shelter from the chaos outside. As the water continued to rise, they could only pray, uncertain of what the world would look like when the storm finally passed. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain did not cease. The floodwaters continued to cover the earth, hiding the remnants of the old world from view. The once vibrant lands, teeming with life, were now a vast, empty sea. The sky, dark and endless, offered no comfort, only the weight of divine judgment that pressed down on all creation. But as the waters rose, so did the hope of renewal. The Creator's hand moved behind the scenes, guiding the flood toward its end. And though the earth was covered in chaos, a new beginning was already in motion. The ark, like a beacon of light in the storm, carried within it the promise of a new dawn. After months of floating in the endless waters, Noah and his family witnessed a subtle shift. The rain slowed, the storm began to wane, and the waters slowly receded. With each passing day, the flood's grip on the earth loosened, and a new hope began to emerge from the despair. But as the ark rested on the mountaintop, the survivors knew that their journey was far from over. The world they would soon re-enter was barren, untouched by human hands, waiting to be repopulated and redeemed. The flood was over, but the true test had only just begun. The ark settled upon the mountaintop, and the waters began to recede. The earth, once a playground for the giants and the rebellious watchers, was now a barren wasteland. The world as Noah knew it had been swept away by the Creator's cleansing flood, leaving nothing but a hushed, lifeless expanse beneath the still sky. Noah and his family, weary and uncertain, disembarked from the ark, stepping onto the raw, untouched earth. The air, thick with the smell of wet soil and the remnants of destruction, felt heavy with the weight of what had been lost. Yet, there was a glimmer of promise in the distance, a faint ray of hope in the midst of devastation. As Noah and his family began to explore this new world, the Creator spoke once more. From the heavens, the voice of God assured Noah that life would begin anew. "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth," the divine command rang out, reminding Noah of his responsibility to rebuild the world and repopulate it with life. The covenant was renewed, and Noah's faithfulness would serve as the foundation for a fresh start. Noah responded with reverence, offering a sacrifice to the Creator as a sign of gratitude for their salvation. The aroma of the sacrifice ascended to the heavens, and in response, the Creator's heart was moved. A promise was made. "Never again will I curse the ground because of man's wickedness, nor will I destroy all living creatures, as I have done." The rainbow appeared in the sky as a sign of this eternal covenant between the Creator and all living beings. The earth was now a blank slate, but the challenges ahead were immense. Noah and his family, though saved from the flood, would face the responsibility of rebuilding humanity from the ground up. The shadows of the past still lingered, and the temptation for rebellion would always be a threat. But for now, the earth was given another chance, and Noah's descendants would be the stewards of its future. As Noah looked up to the sky, the promise of a new beginning shimmered in the form of the rainbow, a reminder of divine mercy and the enduring hope of renewal. As the rainbow stretched across the sky, a symbol of divine promise and mercy, Noah and his family began to settle into their new life on the earth. The barren land was both a challenge and an opportunity. The work ahead of them was monumental, yet they knew that it was a divine responsibility to rebuild and repopulate the earth. The first days after the flood were filled with uncertainty. Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, worked tirelessly to clear the land and begin the long process of cultivating the soil. The earth, scarred by the waters, was wild and untamed. Yet, in its barrenness, there was potential. The seeds of life, which had been preserved within the ark, would now be sown into the earth. The Creator, seeing Noah's faithfulness, continued to guide him. Each step they took, each seed they planted, was blessed with divine providence. Slowly, the earth began to show signs of renewal. Grass began to sprout, trees began to grow, and the promise of a flourishing world started to take shape once again. Yet as the world began to heal, the old temptations began to stir. The shadows of the fallen angels, the Watchers, still loomed over humanity. The corruption that had once spread through the hearts of men was not easily forgotten. The sin that had caused the flood still had a hold on the human heart. Noah, aware of this, kept his family close, teaching them the lessons of faith and righteousness. But even in the midst of this divine restoration, Noah knew that the world was fragile. The flood had cleansed the earth, but it had not erased the capacity for evil within mankind. The battle between righteousness and wickedness would continue. However, for now, Noah stood as a beacon of faith, a man chosen to guide humanity into a new era. As the days passed, the earth grew richer, the soil more fertile, and the world began to take shape again. The legacy of Noah's faithfulness would endure, and through his descendants, humanity would continue to grow. But Noah never forgot the lessons learned from the flood. The promise of the rainbow remained, but he knew that the road ahead would be paved with both blessings and challenges. The earth was reborn, and with it, the hope for a new future. Yet, the vigilance of Noah and his family would be required to ensure that the mistakes of the past were not repeated. The Creator's mercy was abundant, but the responsibility to walk in righteousness was now in the hands of Noah's children. As the earth began to repopulate and nature flourished once again, Noah and his descendants faced the daunting task of rebuilding the human race. The world was new, but the old dangers still lingered beneath the surface. Noah, though a righteous man, understood the weight of the responsibility placed upon him and his children. He had witnessed the power of divine judgment, and he knew that the Creator's mercy was not without conditions. Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, became the fathers of the nations, each one spreading across the earth to fulfill the divine command to be fruitful and multiply. Their children grew and settled into the newly emerging regions of the world. Yet, as humanity expanded, so did the temptation to forget the Creator and the lessons learned from the flood. Ham, in particular, struggled with the call to righteousness. His actions, while not immediately obvious, began to sow the seeds of division and corruption within his descendants. This tension, though subtle at first, began to ripple through the generations. The Creator, ever watchful, knew that the promise of a new world was still fragile. Noah, aware of the growing unrest among his sons, did his best to impart wisdom and maintain unity within the family. The flood had been a divine cleansing, but the world was still vulnerable to sin. He knew that human nature was prone to rebellion, and he urged his children to remain steadfast in their faith and commitment to the Creator's will. As time passed, the earth continued to heal, but Noah's family faced challenges both internal and external. The spread of humanity across the earth led to the establishment of different cultures, languages, and civilizations. Yet, despite the outward diversity, the underlying truth remained the same. The Creator's covenant had been established, and his laws were not to be forgotten. The legacy of Noah's faith, though tested by time, continued to influence the generations that followed. The rainbow in the sky was a constant reminder of the Creator's promise, and the world, though once again populated with mankind, was forever marked by the flood. The future was uncertain, but the lessons of the past remained. The story of Noah and the flood had set the stage for a new chapter in humanity's relationship with the Creator, one that would be marked by both grace and the ever-present temptation of sin. The flood was over, but the journey of redemption had just begun. As humanity began to spread across the earth, a new era was ushered in, a time of rebuilding, of hope, but also of great trial. The generations that followed Noah and his sons were tasked with the weight of upholding the covenant made by the Creator. For Noah, the world had been cleansed, but not all remnants of evil had been washed away. The heart of man still harbored seeds of wickedness, and these would sprout once again. The descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth settled in various parts of the earth, each group forming the roots of new nations. But with this expansion came division. The unity that Noah had fought to maintain among his sons began to unravel. Disputes arose, and the teachings of righteousness were often overshadowed by pride and ambition. Ham's line, in particular, became a source of turmoil. While Noah's other sons followed the path of peace and righteousness, Ham's descendants turned away from the Creator's commands. Their hearts were filled with pride, and they sought to build their own kingdoms, defying the divine order set forth after the flood. The seeds of rebellion planted long ago began to take root once again. As the people of the earth multiplied, so did their arrogance. The Creator's law was cast aside by many, and the rebellious spirit that had led to the fall of the Watchers and the flood began to spread through the generations. Human pride became a force of its own, and the same sinful desires that had led to the corruption of the angels now tainted mankind. In the midst of this growing darkness, Noah held on to the covenant, praying that the future of humanity would return to righteousness. The Creator, seeing the rising tide of sin, knew that mankind's journey toward redemption would be long and fraught with difficulty. Yet, he never withdrew his promise. The flood had cleansed the earth, but had not eradicated the temptation to sin. The Creator's heart was steadfast, and his love for humanity endured. The world was beginning to rebuild, but the true test of mankind's faithfulness was still ahead. Would Noah's descendants continue the legacy of righteousness, or would the earth once again fall to corruption? Only time would reveal the answer, and the Creator's watchful eye was ever present. And the journey of redemption continues. What will happen to Enoch and his descendants? Will humanity learn from the mistakes of the past, or fall into temptation once again? Don't miss the next chapter. Click now and follow the fate of mankind. Subscribe so you won't miss any divine revelations.